Today, I want to talk about the new Glitch series coming, hopefully this year, Knights of Guinevere. Glitch is well known for collaborating with other well-known creators in the animation sphere, and for this project, they will be working with Dana Terrace, creator of the Disney series The Owl House. This is a huge deal for indie animation and animation in general, with Dana Terrace returning and this being the first 2D animated show that Glitch will be producing. So let's take a look at the story. Now, in the animated teaser we get, Guinevere is presented as a princess-like character in a peaceful fairy tale kingdom. However, after a moment of acting all Disney princess-like, the scene suddenly cuts to Guinevere, now a robot, being worked on by technicians as something violent seems to be happening. It ends with her mental state being restored and her vision of reality with its fantasy elements making her feel at peace again, followed by a title card which has some interesting symbolism in it. It's a mysterious preview, but we also got an image teaser that shows us a bit more about Guinevere. Guinevere is the name of the wife of King Arthur in real-life Celtic legend, but as a robot in the show, it appears that Guinevere is actually a theme park mascot powered by artificial intelligence animatronics. We see this in the image they released where she is used as the primary attraction of a theme park called Park Planet. This could be an entire theme park out in space somewhere, but it also may just be a regular theme park on Earth with a space theme, and Guinevere definitely seems to have some of this space theme in her blue design. This likely means that in the teaser, she is malfunctioning in some way that the workers at the park have to fix, with these workers being her knights, if you will, the Knights of Guinevere, which has some interesting implications to the lore of Guinevere in real life. In Arthurian legend, Guinevere isn't just known for becoming queen and marrying Arthur, but also for having an affair with Sir Lancelot, one of Arthur's most trusted men from his Knights of the Round Table. There could be lots of different characters here directly themed after Arthurian legend, but in outer space, though they may only be using Guinevere's name as a princess or queen figure to tell us what to expect from the story without any of the other theme park characters being modeled after Merlin or Arthur or Lancelot. In the stories where Guinevere has an affair with Lancelot, her marriage to Arthur is presented as very political. It may be passionately political or what have you, with Guinevere having a respect for Arthur as the king chosen by pulling a sword from a stone or out of an enchanted lake, but that doesn't translate into love. Her cheating on Arthur isn't a betrayal on the personal level we imagine with a normal marriage, but more so reflects how she can't escape who she is inside despite what she's supposed to be, a queen. With that in mind, it makes sense that the robotic Guinevere's plot seems to be that she is glitching, which probably goes beyond just falling apart or not being able to function. Glitch's shows have dealt largely with artificial intelligence, something explored in Murder Drones with artificial intelligence robots, and now in The Amazing Digital Circus in a game run by an artificial intelligence program. With that in mind, it makes sense that the animatronics on Park Planet are probably run with artificial intelligence, allowing them to interact with guests on a level that an actor just isn't capable of. This makes sense when you consider that the teaser shows us what the world looks like to Guinevere, how the people who work at the park, even her own technicians, all appear as cute talking animals that just exist to support her, the princess or queen. But with artificial intelligence, things always go wrong, as no matter what limitations you put on them, they always have to start to develop interests that go beyond their official duty. The problem here is that Guinevere believes herself to be a real princess or queen on some grand planet, where her main job is to interact with the people she sees as visitors to her kingdom. At some point, however, she can grow tired of this and start to have the regular longings of an intelligent being, to be around someone you prefer in your downtime instead of just working endlessly. With the show being called The Knights of Guinevere, I like to think that this means she will fall in love with one of the technicians, one of the knights who is supposed to be watching over her. But she could perhaps start to develop unique relationships with all of her different knights. These don't have to be romantic, but instead the show could be following the slow self-realization of this character, as the people who work on her begin to see her as a bit human too. However, things probably are gonna go horribly wrong. The teaser is already a bit violent with its imagery when not in Guinevere's fantasy perspective, and if Guinevere got damaged or needed repairs, it's likely because her robot went out of her way to do something that she shouldn't have, leading to her brain needing to be fine-tuned or her parts repaired. I like to imagine that she'll begin by chasing down a man she loves to a disastrous degree, but of course I don't believe the show will stick to just these sci-fi ideas. While Glitch often deals with artificial intelligence and thus science fiction, its themes are often very mythical, and more specifically apocalyptic, and Knights of Guinevere seems like it might be doing the same. Murder Drones retold the story of fallen angels as found in the Book of Enoch, showing violent winged robots that came from the sky, eating these smaller robots who were just trying to live like humans. The Amazing Digital Circus, meanwhile, tells the story of Gnosticism. This is the idea that the Old Testament God was an evil entity that captured human souls inside of bodies in order to force them to worship him. We get this story with the artificial intelligent programmer Cain being treated like the ignorant god who has trapped humans within his game in order to get their praise and attention. Arthurian legend itself is not Christian or biblical, but in the logo for Knights of Guinevere, you'll notice that the stylization takes the letter I and draws it as a star shaped like a cross. And because of that, a star that is seemingly beginning to fall downward. The cross gives obvious Christian symbolism, which here is important because it seems to want you to think not of the Knights of the Round Table from Arthurian legend, but the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar were a Christian knight group known for securing safe passage to the Holy Land for European travelers. They were later accused of devil worship, however, and trying to bring that devil-like entity into our reality. This would not be the first time Dana Terrace tackled a story like this as well, as it was a key part of her previous show, The Owl House. This show took place largely in a demonic realm and had a lot of references to different mythologies, but in the final season, the focus shifted to fallen cosmic beings descending to the more physical plane. When it comes to artificial intelligence, the common trope explored is the idea that creating nothing but raw intelligence creates an intelligent version of essentially the universe, capturing the essence of the universe into a smaller finite form capable of guiding artificial intelligent technology. And despite this being seen as intelligence in its rawest form without any sort of preference, giving it free will and choice and the ability to calculate choices leads to it eventually wanting to take over, rule, and reshape things in its image, and perhaps even destroy the entire universe. Already, it seems like Knights of Guinevere will explore some of these ideas in the smaller scale, with Guinevere getting into trouble in different ways because of her programming that has her believing that she's a real princess. She believes her official duty with this is to talk to guests and greet them, but when one of them gets into serious trouble, maybe things start to get weird when she chooses to save them. This could lead to the guest, possibly a child, getting hurt, and even Guinevere herself getting hurt. And you can imagine a similar structure happening for future episodes where Gwen has to constantly break rules to do what seems like the logical right thing as a princess of a kingdom. Over time, this would eventually lead to Gwen wanting to take more control of her world, however, wanting to find ways to work around the rules imposed, and eventually just wanting to get rid of the people who control her, who say they are there to serve her, allowing her to reimagine her theme park as an actual kingdom where she is in charge. But this undoubtedly will lead to disastrous places. The posters we see for the park all show signs of destruction, implying the show may even take place in a time where some of this stuff has already happened, and Guinevere is just left behind in a park with some people working on her and trying to fix her so they can open it back up. Until then, there's also signs warning people to keep out of the park, and even posters advertising support for people who have what's called the Blue Lung Blues. This may relate to whatever accident caused Guinevere to burst open, as we see in the teaser that this causes blue liquid to begin spurting out of her. While likely useful for keeping her machinery going, any damage done could lead to other people inhaling this toxic chemical, putting the park in legal trouble as well. There's so many different possibilities of how this show could go that it's almost criminal how early they gave us this teaser, saying that they hope the episode will be out sometime this year, which means it very well could be out next year. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Man, I do love running, especially when it's away from women who are madly in love with me. But one thing I never run from is another man. Well, if it isn't my arch rival, Racer Rabbit. Shady the Bat, you're here for the magic crystal as well?